Hey, hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today, I'm live with Logan Effling. Right? Did I say that right?
That's correct.
Oh, wow, that's the first time in 4 weeks that I said the name correct. So we're blessed, I guess. All right, so you're creating your first comic, correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Firewatch. And I've been seeing you around. You've been popping into my chats. Leaving comments around. So I was like, yeah, let's talk comics. Why not get to know
Yeah.
people? So
Oh, of
I
course. Yeah.
obviously don't have a copy of your comic yet. It's not out yet, right?
Nope. Nope. Not out yet. Not in
Okay.
print.
So first, let's start at the beginning. How could we get your comic?
Right now on Indiegogo is the only way to get it. Funding there.
All right. At the end of this video, I'll put in a link to your comic in the description. If I did, I forget if I already did or not, but I'll double check. Make sure if you're interested, we could get you right where you need to be to buy the comic. And
Oh yeah.
and the name of your comic is Firewatch. And what
Yep.
is Firewatch?
Firewatch is a supernatural action adventure. It's kind of in the vein of Men in Black. Like I don't want to say it's too similar, but if there's something you had to compare it to, that's what I would say. Kind of like, Unit 44 at Alterna is kind of in that same vein. It's a government group, but very mysterious, very off the books.
Okay, that sounds good. I really do like that genre. If I could, I play a role playing superhero game, and one of my characters is a Man in Black agent, and it's fun to come up with adventures and have him investigate. It's a lot of fun.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm really digging that whole genre, and it seems like I don't know. I think with the superhero movies kind of in decline right now, but people still want metaphysical powers, and so I think
Yeah.
this is a good genre to explore. So cool. I,
Oh
I
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I've always liked that kind of stuff. The non-superhero stuff, that's always been my go-to.
Okay,
So
so
that's
let me ask you this: you look a lot younger than me, but then again, so does everybody. But were you a comic book kid as a kid?
sort of. I mean, I was kind of a lonely comic book kid. There wasn't really a community or a culture of
Who
it.
was it?
Yeah, yeah. So it was just kind of me, like, because the way I discovered comics was I found my dad's old collection.
Oh, okay,
Because he was
okay.
he was big into comics back in he grew up in the 60s and 70s, so he was a lot of Gold Key is
Oh,
what he
okay,
read.
okay. Is that a spinner rack behind you?
It is, yeah, an
Yeah,
original actually.
yeah. I got a spinner rack right there. I don't know if you
I
can see.
can zoom in on it here if you want to get a better look.
Oh, wow, you're high tech. I'm low
Um,
tech looking.
you probably can't hear me with the mic, but
I, I
it's
oh, you even that horrible noise that I remember
that
so well.
horrible noise. Yep,
Yeah,
creaky, creaky.
yeah. When I finished up my basement, I said I got to get a spinner
Let's
rack.
zoom this back.
What's
There we
that?
go.
Oh, okay.
Fixing the
Oh,
camera.
wow, you just move your fingers?
Yeah, I got an OBSBot. It's a little AI powered camera on a gimbal,
Oh,
so it
wow.
follows you around.
Oh, wow. You got to send me a link to that. Yeah,
It's pretty
I'm
neat.
not a boomer. I'm Gen Z, but I might as well be a boomer because I do this whole crummy little channel on my phone. I
it,
got like 3 buttons to play with.
it looks good, man.
Thank you, thank you. Uh, but when I finished, I said I got to get a spinner rack. So I went to Diamond Comics, and I went and I bought one. But it's brand new one. It makes no noise. I was a little disappointed because it didn't look exactly like an old fashioned one. But you know
Yeah.
what? Now I don't even notice that it doesn't look. But anyway, we're talking comics, and I got distracted by your spinner rack.
Oh, that's comics, man. That's what we're talking
What's on your
about.
spinner rack?
A lot of random stuff right now because it's not really organized. We got some Blood Realm over here up
Oh,
top.
nice.
Uh,
Rob Geronimo was just on.
he was. I saw that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're in the chat.
I was. Yeah. Got an old Star Lord here. This is the original Cosmic Ghost Rider. But I'm reading that new series. They're doing 2 of him.
Oh, cool.
One of the better things Marvel is putting out right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I cold turkey. It was like a junkie. I just had to stop right away.
Yeah.
I see. We got one per. Just let us know if the sound is good. I've done it before where I just talked for an hour and nobody heard me. I'm sure we all have a story like that. So just give us a thumbs up or just tell us we sound good. So anyway, I got distracted because I'm a child and I saw you.
That is fun, man.
So
Me
your
too.
your dad was a comic book fan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and you said he had Gold Key and he was from this. So I take it your dad was probably a little older than I am. Is he still around?
No, he passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that. My dad passed too. Yeah. So you got his comic collection?
Yep.
So you must have some great stuff. You
It's
must.
it's predominantly Turok and Mighty Samson because that was the stuff he liked.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
And
a lot
what
of
did
Tarzan too. A lot of Tarzan.
you know? I didn't like Tarzan as a kid, but now as an adult, I read the novel. They are so the books are so good. Now I get the comics.
Yeah, I did. I'm the same way because I tried reading the books when I was like maybe in middle school, and I just couldn't appreciate them. But I went back and read them as an adult, and they're really good.
And
Yeah,
they're different than what you expect. Like
yeah,
like the second book, the second Tarzan novel, it might as well be a James Bond book. He's going around through France as a secret agent. So I was like, this is really good. And the first book, like I thought it was like really sad at the beginning when they're talking about the parents and everything. I did not like all I knew what everybody do from bad movies and TVs and cartoons. But anyway,
right.
again I'm getting distracted. So let's talk about Firewatch now. So
All right.
is there one main character? Is it a team?
So you could call it a team. There's
Okay.
one main protagonist named Sophie, and then Alec is sort of shares the spotlight, but he won't be as he is now by issue 2.
Okay.
We'll just say that. I don't want to spoil anything, but
Yeah, you don't want to spoil anything.
yeah.
And I know you're the writer, artist, letterer. What do you do?
I'm the writer. Yep.
Okay. And you hire out an artist?
Yep. I have an artist I'm working with. Her name is Laura. That's all you're allowed to know about her.
Oh, really? Okay.
She doesn't want to be internet, which I get it. It's the internet.
I get it too. I'm just starting to get my annoying people that comment on everything I say, and I have to delete, because it's and I'm like, wow, I can't wait till like I'm famous, and then I have people showing up my house ready to punch me in the face.
Right.
So Laura, I totally understand if you're watching.
Yeah. Well,
you're probably smarter than both of us.
Probably.
Yeah. So did you know Laura, or did you find her?
I met her online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that process of finding a dependable artist?
It was a process. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I understand.
Even she was really gung ho about being, the main artist, the solo artist. Like she was so excited about the project in the beginning, but now I'm thinking, and she's thinking too, that we're going to bring in someone else and tag team it.
Oh, okay.
So she probably won't do issue 2. She'll probably work on a different issue down the road.
It makes me wonder how these, like, I've been reading like old creepy from the 60s and stuff, like, and the level of detail and the draftsmanship. How do these guys maintain that level of quality?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So I'm sure, like every comic book person, I dabbled in drawing and trying to make my own comic books as a kid, and it's funny because if you look, I got to dig them out and do a video on my own comic book. You could just see like 1/3 of the page has art on it, and the rest just has like a design on it just to fill up the page because So yes, Laura, I understand. Drawing a full comic has got to be so rough on you.
Yeah. She's doing a great job though. I really like how the panels are turning out. Yeah.
So I forget already because I'm crazy. It's live right now. Firewatch.
It's live right now. Yep. We could pull it up and take a look if you wanted to.
Sure. If I don't know how to do that.
Let's
so
see
it's
if
live,
I
it's on
can.
Indiegogo. You're the writer, Logan Effling, and Laura, the artist known as Laura. And it's a supernatural mystery, occult mystery kind of comic, investigators.
Yeah.
I just love that. I just love that genre.
Oh yeah. Do you have to permit it?
Usually something will pop up.
Okay.
Let me see.
So while we wait for that, did you notice my shirt?
I can't see. I'm blind. What does it say?
DNA Agents.
Oh wow, there's it. The DNA Agents. That's an old First comic, right?
Yep. Or Eclipse.
Oh, it's Eclipse. Okay.
Yeah, I wore this one just for you.
Yeah, Eclipse Comics, and I'm trying to remember who was the writer and artist on that. But the DNA Agents are special to me because they were one of the only comic book properties that was translated into a role playing game system called Villains and Vigilantes. So
Mm,
there's a Villains and Vigilantes module with the DNA agents.
okay.
Yeah, they were good. That's a blast from the past. Do you
It's
collect that?
I do. I have the whole series of this one. Yep.
Oh, cool,
So
cool.
it's Mark Evanier and Will Mingett was the team.
That was going to drive Mark Evan. He was a kid that found out that Jack Kirby lived in his town, and he went and knocked on Jack Kirby's door as a little kid. And Jack's wife was like, "Yeah, come on in. He's downstairs drawing." And he just sat. And Jack told him stories, and he just became friends with Jack Kirby, and Jack introduced him to somebody, and next thing you know, he's writing DNA agents. He writes Gru the Wanderer. With
Oh,
Sergio
that's
Aragones.
him.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, same guy. And I know he does something else. I think he's actually working in Hollywood right now. But all because hey, knock on Jack Kirby's door.
That's
You know?
amazing.
Yeah,
That's a great story.
yeah. I mean, if I may go on, that just shows you the difference between the old school comic book creators and the new school comic book creators. Just went and knocked on Jack Kirby's door. I heard that I met Walt Simonson. He was as pleasant could be, and I remember when Dave Cockrum was in the hospital, his family was like, "We appreciate all the guests, but we can't accommodate people coming to the hospital." Like
Right.
people were going to visit these guys in the hospital and talk, to the point where they had to be like, "Listen, we don't mean to be rude, but and nowadays, like I'm pre-blocked by like 3/4 of the people at Marvel right now,
Yeah, that's
and I never
crazy.
interacted with them.
Right. I didn't know that was a thing until recently. Like people are just using blockchains for no reason.
Correct. Yeah, I
I didn't
think it's
know that.
because I follow Ethan Van Sciver.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah,
because
I'm
of
the
that,
same way. I'm constantly getting things. You can't see this post from so and so because they have you blocked, and it's like I don't know who this person is.
right,
Why do they have me blocked?
right. I don't understand it. Like I forget who said it, and I've been stealing it. But how many less customers will make you happy?
Yeah.
You know. You
No
know.
kidding.
But I'm getting off topic. I want to talk about I want to talk about Firewatch. This is your original creation, right?
Yes.
And is this something that you created as a child? I know everybody as a little kid made up their own super teams and said, "Well, I'm going to make this a comic book someday."
Oh, I'm sure I did too, but I couldn't tell you what any of them were.
Oh, okay.
No, this is something I came up with more recently. Like the general idea of how I came up with it was just like the fact that when you think about like nature agents or fire agents, whatever you want to call them, or like game wardens, they kind of have more power than police. Like their ability to like search people's vehicles and things without warrants and all that. They're the kind of group that you would want to have your secret agents disguised as.
Tell me about it. I work at the airport. I get searched every day. These guys know my first and last name. But they just like, we got to do it again.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And at work we have what's called Firewatch, and whenever anybody's welding, there's another person literally standing around with the fire extinguisher.
Right.
God forbid a fire starts, and that's called Firewatch, and you have to be trained. So I do dig the name of your comic because it shows a trained professional who's ready at a moment's notice to deal with something that they're specially trained for. So I think it's a great name for a team.
Right.
Matter of fact, I had a team in my role playing of NPC superheroes called the Firewatch.
Nice.
So I could never put that into a comic book. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Maybe you can write an issue.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Which brings me, is this a limited series? Is this a long-term series? Do you have a finite end?
There's no finite end for now. This is going to go as long as I can take it, as far as I can take it.
That's good. This is your forever book.
Yeah. For now, I kind of want to start doing the Pete Samedi style and get back to, the compressed storytelling.
I think that's a great idea.
Yep. But for now, because I already have it planned out, it's going to be a 2-issue arc for the first 2 issues, and then another 2-issue arc. And then from there out, it'll be single issues.
Okay. So you got it all planned out already.
Not all, but yeah. I have a lot planned out.
For those of you who don't know, Pete Samedi is the owner, founder, and creator of Alterna Comics, and his comic is called King Cryptid.
Yep.
Pete Smetty's been on my channel before. I just would like to give full disclosure, and I'm a fanboy of alternate comic books. So,
Oh yeah, me
you
too.
know, I always try to think that every video is somebody's first video, and I'd hate for somebody to feel not included. You know,
Right.
I try to be the opposite of modern comic book people.
Yeah.
Let everybody know what's going on. So I think that's a great idea. So if God forbid I miss issue number 3, I could still pick up issue number 4, and you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's something that's missing too much in a lot of. So like the continuity. Like if I pick up a random issue of the X-Men, say, I have no idea what's going on. My sister has 5 kids, and she just said, I'm not reading comic books anymore to these kids. If you want to read them, fine. She goes, but I don't know what's going on. It's confusing, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's commendable. The single issue. This is a story. You could pick it up next issue. That's great. I think that's a great business model.
Oh yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Are you coloring? Do you have is Laura doing all the artwork?
She's doing the line work and the coloring. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can see why she thinks it's a rough go, you know.
It's a rough go. And who's lettering?
Right now, what is her name?
Oh, okay. So you have another.
I have a letterer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's rough. That's a rough job.
Yeah.
And
I've tried to letter myself, but I would rather have someone else do it.
Yeah,
It'll look a lot nicer.
I'd hate to say it, but I think like me. Like I'm writing a comic book script, and I'm just like, I'll letter it. I'll save a couple of bucks. I don't think that's a smart idea, you know. On your first effort, hire a pro.
It's worth it, yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend who lettered his own book, and he was so proud of it. You know, this was a couple of years ago, and he showed it to me, and all I could think of is just like the lettering was going over people's faces. You know, like just so whatever. That lettering is a skill, you know. You can't just pick it up and do it. So good for you. Good for you. Yeah. And how long is your campaign running for?
So it was a 60-day campaign, and we're about halfway through. So I think there's 30. Well, I guess it's next to me here. 33 days.
Oh, 33 days. Good. And then when do you think you're gonna start shipping?
As soon as it's in print. So I'm hoping at the latest, the end of September, at the very latest. Oh, otherwise, wow. I'm thinking in August.
Okay. Wow. I thought you were gonna say like at the end of the, and next year.
End of the year if things go really, really bad.
Yeah. Well,
But the book is like mostly finished. We're just finishing the art first before I can start talking to printers.
That is awesome because. At the beginning of crowdfunding, when I first started hearing about it, I remember you'd pay for it, and then I literally would forget about the comics, and then they would show up in the mail. So it seems like they're getting quicker and quicker, which is, I think, a good thing.
Well, yeah, I specifically didn't want to start until the art was in process because I hate that too. When you place an order and you don't even remember you placed the order by the time it gets to you.
Yeah. I know. I'm weird that way. I don't mind waiting.
I don't mind waiting too, but like keep it within a year.
Yes. Without mentioning names, get on your book and you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
3 years is too long.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I think I know the name. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm upset with him too. Get on that.
Yeah. Stop making 6-hour live chats every day and finish your book. You're just giving your enemies fuel. So what? Obviously, you're a crowdfunded guy. Obviously, you're a comic book guy. What do you think about crowdfunding in general? Do you think it's a viable? I mean, obviously you're doing it, but do you think this has legs?
I think it has legs. Yeah, I think it's another thing. I don't think it's the thing. I don't think it's the way that comics are going to be made from now on. But it's another way. It's another way to get customers to see your book.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I was hoping you had an answer for me because I'm smart enough to know that I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
But I'm not smart enough to know the answer. So I kind of ask everybody that is crowdfunding the future? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yes, in the sense that the future is now, because products in general have kind of moved into a territory of pre-orders, like video games, any sort of media, even like useful products though. Like we're such a pre-order culture now.
Yeah.
We like to sell things that haven't even been made yet.
Yeah, I think like with COVID and everybody just got used to being home, and
It
nobody's
normalized
going to
it.
the movies anymore.
Right.
The rise of like ordering food in, and now you can get your
Yeah.
groceries at home. You don't have to leave. Friends of mine, there's such a lot of friends of mine that work in tech and they work from home. They'll make doctor appointments and they just talk to a camera. You know what I mean? They don't even go to the doctor anymore. Seems to be it's just old-fashioned Patreon. Okay, Jeff, how you doing, Kevin Ryan? Yeah, yeah, old-fashioned. We're going back to the Medicis, right? Um, what I like about crowdfunding is right now this is a golden age of comics. This is a
Oh yeah.
this is there really is a boom. The only thing I can compare it to is the black and white and independence craze of the 80s, but that was obviously in comic book stores. But right now, with a modicum of research, I could find your comic Firewatch, which is an occult investigator. I could find superheroes. I could find pirates. I could find porno comic if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And whatever you like, you could find and get. The only thing is, it's a little costly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there's good things and there's bad things. Like you, for instance, you're publishing now. You're self-publishing. You're your own boss. You're writing your own story. I imagine nobody's telling you what characters to use, and
No.
I'm being facetious, but I'm saying that's what I like about it is
Yeah.
we're watching people make their own intellectual properties, and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I talk too much, so I'm going to stop talking.
Oh, you're okay.
My wife always says that I dominate the conversations. So
that's all right. Yeah, it's great that there's so many people now that are able to just create without any sort of filter, any sort of PR group telling them maybe change this, maybe change that. You can just make things now with the internet. It's awesome.
Right, and it's direct to the customer, so
Right.
Where are your bosses, if you want to look at it like that? Which I begs the question: do you have an editor? Do you have somebody you bounce ideas off with?
Not that's paid.
Not that's paid. Fair enough. But I wonder about that because I'll send scripts to my friends and they're just like, this doesn't make any sense, and then I get mad at them.
Right.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense? I'm brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're reading it wrong.
Yeah. Read it again. And then I give a 2-hour explanation. Oh, now it makes sense. But are you going to do that to every person who reads the comic? And I'm like, okay, you got me on that one. You just don't understand because you didn't read all 40 pages yet. 40 issues.
Right.
What was I going to say next? Okay, I just said I wasn't going to talk too much, and then I started talking too much.
All right. So you're talking about you like the occult stuff. So like, what was your favorite book growing up?
Growing up as a kid, it was Fantastic
Or was it
Four.
It was superheroes.
Yeah, Fantastic Four. But the Fantastic Four were occult explorers.
They were.
Going to the negative zone, and Dr. Doom was a sorcerer, and then they went to that whole Agatha Harkness in Salem 7, and exploring other planets.
Yeah.
They were occult explorers in a way. Look at the cryptids. So there you go. I've always been interested in this kind of stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
I really like.
Right now, I love Hellboy. Hellboy is.
Oh yeah, Hellboy's great. I really like that Horace Hoover that Fabrizio's got going on right now.
You stole that right out of my brain. I was just about to say, one issue came out, and I'm like frothing at the mouth to get issue number 2. I like that whole world that he made up. Occult investigator, and the character himself is a mystery. He's got this. It's gonna sound crazy. A vacuum cleaner on his head.
Yeah.
Why? There's got to be a reason. I don't know yet. I want to know. And that.
Yeah.
Again, that's creator owned. That's all his. That's from Alterna Comics. I guess I'll put a link to that in the video.
Oh, yeah. May as well.
Anything we talk about, yeah.
Yeah, so Fabrizio is just so talented too. Watching his draw streams, that's all Greek to me. I can't even fathom how he does that.
And I mentioned it a few times while watching it. I'm like, dude, you could just be like a radio announcer. That guy's got a great voice.
Yeah.
It's just like just relaxing, and he's funny. I really enjoy. And he reached out to me. He wants me to be on his channel to talk about comics. I just really like the guy. All the guys at Alterna. Every guy I met.
They're all great guys.
Been the greatest guys in I want that company to succeed so much, and I want Firewatch to succeed.
Thank you. Me too.
At the risk of all this drama that's going on the internet, I don't want to mention exactly specifically, but
well, which drama?
I know. Good question.
Specifically.
I'm going to say that Eric July. For those of you who don't know, Eric July created a comic called Isom. I got the first issue, and I pledged for the second issue, and the guy made like $5 million. And
something insane, I know. Yeah.
And at the risk of getting this, I don't think it's that great, but I like it. But people are going nuts and attacking this guy.
Yeah.
For what? What did he take out of your pocket? If anything, he showed you that crowdfunding, the sky's the limit now. To me, it's inspirational. Like he didn't, So I don't know why Firewatch can make $5 million now because Eric July showed you that it's possible.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be pretty cool, but I don't know about that. But
but you know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand.
If I can just reach my goal, I'll be happy. I set a very humble goal.
Well, what is your goal?
Just $1,000.
Just $1,000?
Yeah.
Good luck.
I figured I could do that in 60 days, but it's looking rough right now. We're at 300.
We reached a point now where there's so many crowdfunded. Now, and I think that's good. Because separate the wheat from the chaff. But this I don't know. I think it's, like I said, it's a golden age. I think people now are accustomed to Indiegogo, to Kickstarter, all the other ones. I can't even remember their names. So it's not a strange thing. Yeah, there's crowdfunder, yes. And again,
there's a bunch of them.
So tell me about Firewatch. Again, I'm talking about myself.
Again, do you have specific questions or just talk about it?
Sure. When did you start coming up with this idea?
So coming up with it sometime in the last couple of years. I couldn't tell you the exact day. When did I actually start working on it? Probably sometime towards the end of last year. I actually started talking to people and actually started putting things in motion.
Okay, let me ask you a little bit about your writing. Do you write like each panel out and give panel descriptions to your artist?
Yeah.
Okay, and that is so cool. That is so cool. And geez, do you give like, well, I want this color here, this sound balloon, this is going to be or do you do more Marvel method? When you see the art, you'll put in the dialogue.
Oh, is that the Marvel method?
Yeah, the Marvel method is Stan Lee would go like, okay, Dr. Doom attacks and he steals the Baxter building. Go draw it. And then 3 months later, Jack Kirby gives him 22 pages. Then Stan Lee makes up the dialogue on each panel, which is why there's always so much feuds of who created what, because maybe that particular issue he didn't ask for Willie Lumpkin, and then Jack Kirby drew a mailman, and Stan Lee named him Willie Lumpkin. Who created that?
Right.
So
No, I guess I don't do it that way then, because I put the dialogue with everything.
Okay.
And then we make it all from there. So the script is everything all at once. Everything that needs to go into the book.
Oh, cool. And how long did it take you to make to write a script for one issue?
Depends how much of a perfectionist I'm being. if I, separate the wheat from the chaff and don't get in my own head about it, not terribly long.
Yeah.
I couldn't give you a time frame, I guess. It's different for every issue,
Yeah, good for you, man, because I'm still second guessing everything. And
I know. I do the same thing. Yeah. Eventually you just got to say, you know what? This is the way it is.
Yeah. In my business, like, we'll be installing something and it doesn't look right, and you take it apart, you fix it, and it doesn't look right. Sooner or later, you just go, it is what it is,
Yeah.
Because nobody else is going to notice that 1 degree that's off except for me. Right. So I understand.
So long as it's safe, right?
Yeah, you're gonna torture yourself over something that nobody else is gonna notice.
Yeah.
So you said it's mostly two characters,
Yep, those are the two that you're going to be seeing the most.
and they work for an agency called Firewatch.
Yep.
Cool. And I know you don't want to give any spoilers, but it's a cult, so they.
I can spoil the first issue if you want to know what they're
Just
investigating.
Just give me a tease.
You want to know what the monster is?
Oh yes, definitely. I want to know.
Of course, you have to spoil that.
Yeah.
It's going to be Mishi Peshu. Have you ever heard of that?
That don't tell me. That's a Brazilian vampire.
Close.
Okay,
sort of.
What is it? If you say Portuguese vampire, I'm gonna get so mad.
What? It's not close at all.
What is it?
It's a water lynx. It's from native folklore.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
I can't pronounce the tribe, but
water.
It's a Michigan/Canadian tribe. It's from that area.
Oh, I never heard of that. That sounds cool. And it's a real thing from folklore.
It's a real thing from folklore. It's a creature that supposedly would live in the Great Lakes.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't realize we had monsters here in America.
Right?
All I know is there's supposed to be one up in Lake Champlain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. And Sasquatch. How can I forget Sasquatch?
Oh, of course, Sasquatch.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So that's all right. So, wait a minute. King Cryptid's going to be a little annoyed at you for this. You know, he's going to come and he protects the monsters, doesn't he?
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess. I thought you meant Pete might be using that one
No.
specifically.
I don't know. I have no insight about that. I'm just joking around. But King Cryptid is Pete Smetty's character. That's like the superhero who protects the cryptids, and it's a pretty cool concept.
Super cool. That one a lot.
Oh, cool. So all right. It's the bad guy, or are they protecting it?
Not really either.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Don't tell me.
That's the first two issues. The first two issues are about that.
So the first two issues where you're introducing the two characters and the fact that there is supernatural
and the organization. Yeah. There's a third character that will have a pretty significant role, who's kind of a head figure in the organization.
The leader.
Well, not the leader, but a leader. We'll say.
Okay. Cool. All right. This sounds good. I really get a kick out of occult investigation stories, supernaturals. I'm saying it right now. Here's a prediction, and you can laugh at me in 2 years from. But I think that's going to be the next big wave for movies. I'm
you cut out. I missed what you said.
Oh, it cut out. I'm sorry. I said I'm calling it right now, and you can laugh at me in 2 years when I'm wrong. But I'm calling it right now. I think that's going to be the next big thing. I think you're ahead of the curve. There's going to be like regular people in occult situations, because I do think people like this, like the idea of superheroes of a bigger world. But I think that this big superhero craze is winding up, and it's going to be the common man versus supernatural things.
Yeah. Another one I just remembered, R.I.P.D. Remember that one? The Rest in Peace Department?
No. That was a comic?
No. It was a comic, and 2 movies were made.
Really?
Yeah. The first movie was really good. The first movie had Jeff Bridges and was it Ryan? No. What's his name? Green Lantern? Deadpool?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, was it him? It might have been him.
Oh,
I think it was him.
I never heard.
Yeah, him and Jeff Bridges in the first movie.
That sounds.
And then the second movie didn't have either of them and wasn't as good.
and it was based on a comic.
Yeah, I think it was a dark horse. I think.
Oh, cool! Have you ever read the BPRD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool too.
Definitely came to an ending on that. I don't know if I don't want to spoil Hellboy for anybody, but it ended.
Yeah.
All right. What else am I going to say now? Is Firewatch are they technologically advanced? Like, are they just going after these monsters with 38 stun noses?
I mean, both. They're doing that too, but they are technologically advanced.
Oh, cool.
Whether or not our heroes get to use much of that technology is dependent on need to know basis. But
all right. And I know I'm prying a lot, but what about does this Firewatch is it like one of these organizations that has mystic tomes and books that they keep from the earth, and that they're able to use spellcraft when necessary?
Possibly.
Okay. All right.
Possibly when necessary.
This is right up my alley. This
I mean,
kind of
when
stuff
necessary.
This is cool. Again, I really like the common man up against monsters. I'm a
Yeah.
big H.P. Lovecraft fan, so the crazy, the normal person who goes crazy visiting, realizing that the world is bigger and more complex than they thought. I think that's just a great story trope for me.
Oh yeah, I like
Which
that.
are you a Lovecraft fan?
I am. I haven't. I mean, I'm a fan in the sense that I'm a fan of the aesthetic and everything that's been inspired by it, but I haven't actually read much of the
Yeah,
original stuff.
they're tough reads. They're really
Yeah,
really tough
yeah,
reads. I so many people just put them down, and I'll tell you, I'll reread a story, and I'm like, did I ever read this? Like, I thought I read this, but like that, you kind of forget all the details. They're tough reads. So, what are your inspirations for your comics? We already talked about Hellboy. What have you been reading in the past 5 years or so?
in the past 5 years or so, a little of everything, but mostly older stuff. As far as new stuff goes, like I have a few subscriptions. Like I said, I've been reading the new Cosmic Ghost Rider, but so much of the new stuff just, aside from indie books, of course,
Yeah,
but the new Marvel and DC just aren't great.
no, I quit Marvel and DC in 2015, and then every once in a while I'll pick up like a something that'll pick up my interest, and then I get disappointed. It's like going on a date with your ex-girlfriend, and you're like, oh, that's why we broke up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cosmic Ghost Rider. I just realized something. Isn't that like Frank Castle?
it is.
So how are
It's
they justifying him still being around? Did Marvel just like a character assassinate that character?
They did, so I don't really know. I think it's just because it's like a not canon thing. Like Cosmic Ghost Rider just kind of exists in his own universe,
Oh, okay.
separate from the other Marvel universe, I think. I think
Okay.
that's how they're justifying it.
All right. I didn't know that. I have.
Like, I don't think it's actually considered like canon
Oh, I
with the
thought it
rest
was
of
set
the
in the
stuff.
future or something.
Well, it is. So I don't know. But why is he still there? Once again, because they
Because it
disowned
sells.
him. So
Because
yeah,
it
because it
sells.
sells.
Because
Yeah.
it sells. That.
Because fools like me are still buying it. Yeah.
Yes. I think that was he debuted in Thanos, right? Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that was
it's
one of the
something
last
like
things I
that. Yeah.
bought was that Thanos run, which was actually very good.
Yeah.
That was a good run, actually. I think it was one of my early showcases. Um,
Otherwise, yeah, last 5 years, it's mostly older stuff. Like I recently, in the last year
DNA.
or
I'm
two,
blown
I
away by
picked
that.
up I picked up a lot of Eclipse stuff.
What
Like
else? What else?
I read the whole Miracle Man
Oh, is that
by
cool?
Alan Moore. It's cool.
And I'm waiting. It's still a cliffhanger. Issue 25
I
never
don't
came
know
out.
if you'll ever get closure on that.
I know it's I still I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I have like a theory that I've been holding on to for 30 years, trying to figure out what's going on. My
Yeah,
theory is, I'll tell you, Miss Miracle Woman is the bad guy. She set the whole thing up to turn them on each other. She's been corrupted by Gargunza.
maybe.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that could be.
But supposedly it's made and created. It was just that the rights messed it up, and it never came out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then Marvel Comics. I don't know how Marvel Comics ended up with the rights to Miracle Man, and they changed the name back to Marvel Man, and but I was waiting for issue 25, but that never came out either. So I thought everything was finally going to happen. Oh well. What else you get by Eclipse?
Miss Tree. You ever read that one?
Oh my, yeah, it's one of my early showcases. I love Miss Tree. Oh my God, thank you for saying that. That's a comic that it's normal world,
Yeah.
normal, nothing crazy, no superpowers. Max Allen Collins and Terry Beatty. Such a good comic. Oh yeah, all right. you get me excited. Miss Tree, by the way, her original name was Michael Friday, and she's supposed to be the daughter of it's the cop Friday from Dragnet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that he never. Well, he said it in interviews, but he never said it in the comic because of whatever legalities. But that in his mind, she's the daughter of you know whatever from that show Dragnet.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great comic, Miss Tree.
Yeah, that's a cool one. Trying to think what else from Eclipse.
You
That
Scout.
kind of covers it. Oh, Scout, yeah. I've read a few of those. I haven't read much of
That
that
is a
series.
that is a bizarre comic. That is,
Yeah,
I can't even explain. It's post-apocalyptic mystical Indians. It's a
yeah.
bizarre comic.
I mean,
Great.
that's right up my alley, really. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nexus was first comics, right?
yeah. I love Nexus. I love Steve Rude
Yeah,
and
Steve Root.
Mike Barron. They're both great.
I had Mike Barron a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm a Mike Barron fanboy. Anything by Mike Barron, I'll just pick up. Matter of fact, he has Bronze Star that's live on Kickstarter right
he
now. Might
sure
as well
does.
give him a shout out. And
Yep.
it's a cult. It's a sheriff fighting werewolves in the
I
old
think
west,
that's on
or
Fund
it's a
My
sheriff
Comic
who is
too.
a werewolf. I forget what it is. That's right. He wears a Bronze Star because he can't wear the Silver Star because he's a werewolf.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, he just spoiled it.
Well, he spoiled it. He's
Right,
been
right,
telling people that, so
right.
it's not like I read the comic.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I
Well, yes, that one's not finished yet, is it?
oh, Bronze Star.
Bronze Star, yeah, that
It didn't
one's
even come out yet. It's
right.
still crowdfunding right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This right again. The comics are so much fun. I think that I've been saying this to my friends for the past 40 years that you tell me something that you saw in the movies, and I'll show you a comic book that did it 20 years earlier. Like
Yeah,
I
for
remember when
real.
Terminator 2 came out, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he touches things," and I was like, "Oh, that's the Absorbing Man." Jack Kirby made that up in the 60s. You know,
Yeah.
you know. And what I liked about what's his name, James Cameron, he fully admitted that he read comics as a kid and said, "Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah." So it's the best medium in the world, and I don't have to tell you, you do. So
Oh, yeah.
you have a full-time day job, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
full-time some days.
oh, okay. Yeah,
It's
I'm not trying to pry into your personal
well,
details.
I work on a family farm, so
Oh, really?
yeah,
Wow, you're a farmer.
I
That is
guess.
awesome. That
I
that is
guess so.
hard work, buddy. Oh my god.
Some days, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. That is so cool. Oh wow. I have a lot of respect for that. The older I get, the more I'm like, I want to make my whole backyard into a farm, but
Yeah.
I in New York that you can't do anything to make
Well,
you
yeah.
self-sufficient in New York. They won't let you.
Yeah, I've never been to either coast, but it seems like it's quite the adventure
Yeah,
over there.
yeah. I thought I froze for a second. Yeah, I lived out in the Midwest, and it's a different country. I lived
Yeah.
out in New Mexico, and I grew up in New York, moved out to the Midwest. Completely different country, opened my eyes to a whole different lifestyle. Had friends that were farmers, worked on a farm for not as a professional, but just helping them out. Hardest I worked, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Came back to New York, and I'm like, I just feel like people shouldn't be living here.
Yeah.
I can't wait to retire and get out of here again. It's too restrictive.
Yeah.
What state? You don't have to give any details away.
South Dakota.
Oh wow, South Dakota.
Yeah.
It's one of the few states I haven't been to. I haven't been to.
One of the least populated. It's pretty sparse here.
One of my friends that I grew up with is an FBI agent, and he says that for a short while he was the only FBI agent in entire. I forget if he said North Dakota or South Dakota.
Yeah.
He goes.
I
I
imagine.
whole state. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's not even 1 million people total in the state, so
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
And at least a quarter of them all live in one city, so they're all
Yeah.
over there. And the rest of it's just kind of spread out.
Oh, and you're not even near the big city, so.
Oh, I'm nowhere close, no.
Yeah, yeah. I assume.
My aunt married someone from New York, and like when her family came out and they came down gravel roads, they were like scared of where they were because there was just nothing.
Yeah, they
It's
thought
just
they were driving into
oblivion.
Deliverance.
Yeah, they'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah, the older I get, the more that's what I want. My wife keeps talking about retiring to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's the only place to one up South Dakota, right? Is Alaska.
Probably, yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? As long as it's not expensive, I don't care. I can still go online and talk.
That's the thing about Alaska, though; it is a little expensive.
I know that's just it. That's just it. Yeah.
cheap here, very cheap here.
You got room on the farm?
Hey, come on over.
All right, let's get back to comics. Let's get back to
All right.
Firewatch.
All right.
Okay, so you said you're going to start shipping in September if all goes well.
That's kind of what it's looking like. Probably the end of September. Could be sooner, could be later. Just depends how things go.
Okay, and what tiers do you have? What multiple covers?
Right now, we just have the 3 covers, a couple of T-shirts that nobody wants, which is fine.
Yeah.
I thought they were nice designs, but I'll print a few for myself, probably.
Of course you will. Of course,
Of course. But there is one thing here, and I have these. These are on the way. I have this as an example to show you what I'm talking about. Have you seen these fig pins before?
What is it?
The brand is called Fig Pin, but it's just an enamel pin.
Okay.
You know, like you put on your shirt, like that kind of pin. Yeah. So the ones I ordered will be acrylic, though.
Okay, cool.
But they'll be about this size. They'll be just like that. They shipped this week, so they should be here soon.
Oh, cool.
I was kind of hoping I'd have them so I could show you. And I'll put those as a perk, I think, just in case anyone wants extras or something. But I think I'm just going to give one to everybody too.
Oh, cool.
So I'll put that as like a stretch goal as like $1,001 just to make sure we reach our goal, and then everybody gets a free pin.
For those of you who don't know, a stretch goal is one of the things that crowdfunders do, and it's a cool idea. So I'm just going to make up numbers. So you want $1,000 to make this, but say he makes $1,500. That's more money, so he'll give you more stuff. So everybody benefits from his campaign making more and more money. Like I backed a board game, and if the board game made its funding, everybody gets the game. But if it doubles the funding, then everybody gets upgraded pieces. If it triples, then we get an expansion to the game built in. So but nobody pays more. Everybody pays the same, but the more money. So that's what a stretch goal is. For again, I try to explain.
It's a great way to give back to the people who show support.
Right. And it's an incentive, and it's fun too, because you're like, oh man, I hope we get to this tier, and I hope we get to this tier, and then you get all these little comics. You get all your doodads and knickknacks. It's fun. It's fun. Like
I was going to do a wooden nickel, but I didn't get around to that on this one. So maybe on the next one.
You don't take a wooden nickel. Everybody knows that.
Right.
Really? I take it that's part of the story.
It isn't. I just thought it was really cool.
Oh, it is cool.
It's a fun little throwback,
It is funny because everybody's heard that expression, a wooden nickel.
Most people forget that they were literally wooden nickels, especially young people who they don't forget. They just didn't know.
Yeah. I remember that. I don't know if you remember, but McDonald's would give you little wooden nickels.
I don't.
Back when I was a real little kid, I'm talking about. I had to hold my mom's hand, and you'd put them into like an animatronic Ronald McDonald, and it would give you tickets or whatever, and then you could redeem them for toys. But you had to like ask them or do something to get these wooden nickels.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that since I was a kid. That's funny. I think that's a great idea. Like you said, put that into your next campaign.
Yeah, it's a fun little throwback thing, fun little extra. Otherwise, I mean, everyone will get one of these. Not that they're that special, but some people like them. I printed a bunch of postcards.
Oh, I thought you were going to give us microphones.
Yeah, you want some Yeti microphones? No, I'm using the stack to prop up my microphone. So
I'm just teasing you. What was that? Now that I broke your groove, what were you holding up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. Was it like a postcard?
Yeah.
Cool.
4x6.
Cool. And is that Laura's art?
Yep. Well, actually, no. This is not Laura's art. This is an artist called Karma Matoy.
Okay.
Which that pronunciation is probably going to be hard to spell, but you could find him on Twitter and Instagram with that if you can spell it.
Yeah. Okay.
They're another artist I met online. I really like their stuff, so I commissioned them for the cover.
Okay. That is so cool. So you wrote your script. You found some artists that you can work with. And you get your comic book coming out. That is just. I think that is just amazing because this is something people couldn't do. 10 years ago.
Yeah. No.
But I was. I work. I'm too old to pretend to be somebody else. So at work, everybody knows me as the weirdo comic book guy. And everybody teases
that's
me.
That's a good guy to be.
What's that? Yeah,
that's
it's a good guy to be. I like me. But everybody. I'm a construction worker, so it's yeah, but you might as well be with barbarians, so everybody teases
Right.
you. But once the teasing dies down and they realize it doesn't bother me, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, man, I really like comics." Blah blah blah. And one of the guys I work with told me about his next door neighbor who was kickstarting a comic, and geez, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. And it was the very first time I heard it, and I was like, "That is the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard." And he's like, "No, it's his full, he's making like $5,000 a comic," and I'm like, that was an insane amount of money, $5,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? And oh man, I wish I could remember what comic that was. And that was like 10 years ago. It was the very first. And then I started hearing about Mike Paluto doing it, and then
He
more and
was
more.
early.
Yeah, yeah. He's I think one of the forerunners of. For those of you who don't know, Mike Paluto did Lady Death. He does
Evil Ernie.
Evil Ernie. That's right. Everybody knows Evil Ernie.
Mm-hmm.
And he has another the Devil Woman. Why can't I think of her name? Purgatory.
Purgatory. I was gonna say
and
he has another Devil Woman now, doesn't he?
La Muerta, something like that. Like she's
La Muerta, Lady Death.
yeah. Yeah, Lady Death.
But it's
yeah,
like Satanica or something now, isn't it?
Oh,
isn't that a new one?
Satanica. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with
No, he has Purgatory too, but I think Satanica is a whole nother new one that I mean like brand new.
Oh, okay. And this guy has he does a Kickstarter. He's making like 30-40 grand a pop, and he just turned his tail on the mainstream industry and never looked back. And I think he's doing he's a pioneer. And now I look back.
Has he worked in the industry since the 90s? He's been indie for a long time, I feel like.
I don't know. I think after the backers get their comics, he makes like a comic book store edition of the comics, but I could be wrong.
I think he does. Yeah.
But I got
is that where we're drawing the line of what makes something mainstream is if they're with Diamond?
That's a good question. You probably yes. My gut reaction is yes without any research. But Diamond is, they
not great.
Yeah. Now there's Luna. Now there's, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Diamond is a comic book distributor. So if I own a comic book store, John's Long Box comic book store, I would put in an order to Diamond. Diamond buys it from Marvel, DC, from Logan Effling, and we get and then we put them on the shelves. So really Marvel and DC would sell their comics to a distributor. That's their customer. Then the distributor's customers are comic book stores, and then the comic book store's customers are you and I. So
and suddenly you have too many cooks in the kitchen.
That's the point that I was trying to make. Logan is selling it directly to me. I'm his customer. So you're able to cut out the middleman, so you can make more money selling less comics. That's one of the things that the detractors are saying to like Eric July or Splato Comics or whatever. You're not really selling a lot. And he's like, well, I'm cutting out Diamond. I'm cutting out the comic books.
You don't need to sell as much. Yeah.
It's direct. Your boy Zach from Diversity in Comics, he always calls it like a artisanal comics. And as pretentious as that term is, I got to agree. It's like I look at the crowdfunded comics as like you go into a fancier restaurant, and you're getting more esoteric, more creator driven, unique material. Are you drinking beer?
I'm drinking Liquid Death.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's water.
Because you almost made me want to have a beer.
I know, right? No, I quit drinking beer this past year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, alcohol altogether. I quit. Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. You didn't have a health scare or anything, did you?
Yep. I did.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear it.
Yeah.
I got a fridge over here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I host game nights at my house. I have beer in there. I have hard liquor. I got soda. Just so I could offer everything to my friend. I don't drink much. I stopped drinking at 25. But
yeah.
Every once in a while, a beer hits the spot. I never had a.
Well, I still have an occasional one. I think I've maybe had 2 or 3 in the past 9 months.
Okay. Well, when you hit your stretch goal, have a beer.
There we go. That's how we're celebrating.
So, what else? What else do you want to talk about? I monopolized. Damn, I monopolized the conversation again.
That's all right. You're good. You got good topics going on.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think about Alan Moore?
Oh, you got another hour?
Sure.
I I love Alan Moore. Okay,
Yeah.
let me just say that Alan Moore, to me, I always joke, and but it's more serious than that. Watchmen is a dividing line in comic books. There's before Watchmen and there's after Watchmen. Now, um, Watchmen was a breakout work. It changed the landscape of comic books, but Alan Moore was a genius, and everybody else is not a genius. So stop trying to deconstruct comic books. Stop trying to deconstruct superheroes. It's been done by the genius already.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah,
So
there's a lot of imitators when it comes to Watchmen. Yeah.
right. And Frank, you're not Frank, but not you. I'm talking to generic you. You're not.
Yeah, what do you mean I'm
You're not
not
Alan
Frank
Moore.
Miller?
But Alan Moore, for those of you who don't know, Alan Moore, he's a British comic book writer. He started on like 2000 AD, and
Mhm.
he has a lot of stories in 2000. And then he came to America and changed the landscape of comic books. He started, I think, in Swamp Thing, and oh man, that comic book changed my life. Oh, I bored Logan. I thought
No,
you would.
no, no.
I thought you were fleeing.
No, not fleeing. I just picked up a big stack of
Oh,
2080s recently. Yeah.
those.
We're just doing show and tell.
Okay, show it to yeah. What have I been reading? But anyway, back to Alan Moore. Alan Moore is kind of a prickly old pear. I
Yeah.
think he's a genius, and I think part of being a genius is that you think different and you act different. Look at all the creative, like Van Gogh. That guy was a mad genius, cutting off his own ear. But
Mhm.
Alan Moore, I think he likes to say things that he doesn't believe just to get reaction. Like he tells everybody, I'm a communist. He worships a puppet. He worships a god. It made sense when he explained it, but I can't explain it to it. He worships a god that everybody knows is a puppet, but it's the idea that the fact that everybody knows it's false and all gods are false makes it the only real god because it's there. Whatever. He found this crazy religion that existed in Greece for about 100 years, and he's the only living practitioner. He's a wizard. And I find the guy crazy and endearing and charming. And there's a picture of him shaking hands with Jack Kirby,
Yeah.
and Alan Moore's face for all of this crotchety weirdo. He looks like a little kid. Like, oh my God, this is the greatest moment of my life. So it's such an endearing picture. He's like, like Alan Moore of
Humbled.
all people is starstruck, and Jack
Yeah.
Kirby's looking like a '30s gangster shaking hands, and Alan Moore's a giant hairy Sasquatch, But I love the guy. But I think if he was to come and sit down at my table, I think I'd be like, all right, it's time to go, Alan. You drive me crazy. So how is that? Did I
was,
too much about Alan Moore?
that was excellent. Yeah.
Yeah,
You think he's going to do another one?
Another what?
Comic.
He said he's only interested in doing a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah, he said that was the only comic series that he was interested in doing. He said he was done with comics, but then again, he likes to say shocking things.
He does. Yeah.
He just came out with a 12-issue series called Providence, which is his take on H.P. Lovecraft.
Right.
And I'm such a comic book hoarder. I got all 12 issues. I said, I got to read this. And then I put all the comics on top, and I forgot all about it until I just thought of it now. So I got to go put that in. There's my stack right there.
That's your to read pile?
That's my, yes. Can you see this? This is my to read pile. And this is my stuff that I'm going to showcase on my videos. And this is my mess over here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you probably saw my mess when I ducked down. I got a lot of boxes here right now.
We're comic book people. We got stacks of comics. We got messes. We got piles. and the organization makes sense to you and I, but it doesn't make sense to anybody else.
That's what matters. Yep.
Behind me, I got a room of all my comic books. Like I every once in a while, I'll put up a picture of my comic book room. And when I explain my organization, I could go back there in 2 seconds, get any you name a comic, I could go back there and get it if I have it. But nobody
is it
understands
remote?
My organization.
Is it remotely alphabetical?
It's alphabetical by character.
Oh, okay. So if mine's not even remotely alphabetical. Yeah, only I know my system.
People get mad because I mix my Marvels with my DCs, but like I did it earlier. I get First Comics mixed up with Eclipse, so I'll never be able to find Badger because I'll think
Yeah.
it's I'll think it's another company, and then I'll be like, where'd it go? And then I'll buy it again. So I put them all in alphabetical order by badge. But here's the thing: X-Men, then Uncanny. So all new X-Men would be before Uncanny X-Men. Like the Mighty Avengers is before the New Avengers. So it's the character Superman, Action Comics. Spider-Man, Spectacular. Spider-Man, Amazing. So Amazing would be before Spectacular. Otherwise, so all my Spider-Mans in one area, all my Thors are in one area, all my X-Men, and I'll tell you the hardest to categorize was the Justice League, because they had International Justice League, and then the International Justice League became the American Justice League by issue 14. And so
Yeah.
and the biggest conundrum is Power Man, is that Heroes for Hire, or is that Luke Cage, or is that Power Man? Or do I divide it up into three different areas of my comic book room? That's
Right.
for philosophers side. But it's all under Power Man, Iron Fist. So you go through P's, and also you'll see Heroes for Hire, then Luke Cage, Power Man, and then Power Man and Iron Fist. Because I don't know, because that's how I remember it. So again, you'll get lost in my comic book room, but I know where everything is. And again, I'm talking too much.
Oh,
How
you're
about
good.
you? How's your comic book collection?
It's like I said, it's a mess. It's only I know the system. It's just long boxes, short boxes. I know what's in what.
And have you been you said your father gave you a bunch of comics
Mm-hmm.
as a kid, and he wasn't a Marvel or DC guy as a kid, huh?
Not particularly, no. His Turok was his number one,
Turok,
and then Mighty Samson, and then Tarzan. Like he had all the Tarzan books too, and a ton of the comics. So like he just really liked that. I don't know, what would you call that? Like modern day fantasy, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like the pulp heroes, right? Like
yeah, it's that. There you go.
Did he have like Doc Savage?
Yes, Doc Savage. Yep.
Phantom. My dad liked all that stuff too, so I wonder if they were in the same age range. But
probably, maybe.
He loved the Shadow, Doc Savage, and I never read any of those.
Well, I think it's because a lot of that stuff, like he just found in boxes, like at farm auctions and stuff when he was a kid. Like that's where I think he found a lot of his stuff. So a lot of it was the older stuff. It was the pulp stuff,
Okay, this is going to sound awfully elitist New Yorker, but did he grow up in South Dakota also? So
yeah.
Was it harder? Was there less comic book stores? Less?
Right. Well, he had one bookstore when he was a kid. I never had any comic book store or anything like that anywhere close to me. But
really?
There's one in the city. If I make it there, I don't make it there very often. But
how long does it
still,
take you?
there's nothing close. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you subscribing your whole life, or eBay?
Right. If I wanted new stuff, it was subscribing. Otherwise, eBay. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, again, like I'm sure you don't know what I'm talking about, but I was in the 5 boroughs. I was in Flushing for 15 years, and there's no comic book stores.
Yeah.
There's one comic book store that's pretty famous, but it's impossible to park, so I just never went there.
Yeah.
So I moved out here. All my friends out in the 5 boroughs, like, oh, you moved out in the country, and they asked me, how do you go food shopping? And I'm like, what are you, nuts? But, so we settled in, and I'm like, oh, this house is great. We could fix it up. We could do what we want. And I was like, if only there was a comic book store within walking distance. So my wife, being the sweetheart she is, she looks it up. She's like, John, there's a right around the block. So there's a comic book store within walking distance.
That's amazing.
Another comic book store even closer just opened up. So that's in walking distance, and then I found out when a friend came to visit that there's like a famous comic book store. You got to drive there, but a 10-minute drive. That this place, when I walk in, it's like, do you remember in Pulp Fiction when they open up the suitcase and the gold is on your face and you just look in awe? This place has everything in mint condition. It's a bit pricey because they only deal in high quality. But like, do you want a first issue near mint of Night Nurse? They got it. You're paying for it. So but it's like I can't go in there because I'm too tempted to buy Oh, Sergeant Fury and Howling Commandos #1. It's only $3,000.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but they got it. You know, so I try not to go there. But they got everything. That's Tor's Comics for those of you who are interested. I don't.
What was the name?
Tor's, TOR.
Oh,
Supposedly it's famous, but I didn't know until I moved out here.
yeah, I hadn't heard of it, I guess. But
Yeah, and it's a ugly little building, but you go in there, it is, and the guy is phenomenal. He knows everything about comic books. You know, there's commercial tours. Now give me that Nick Fury $3,000 comp. So and when I lived in Albuquerque for 7 years, and Albuquerque, they used to say it was the biggest little town in America. You know, and they had comic book stores everywhere. There was I used to do like a run and go to all 5 comic book stores. You know, and
Yeah.
they had more comic book stores per person than where I grew up in New York. You know, but I don't know. I guess the rents are too high for, you could buy a house. When I was living in Albuquerque, you could buy a house for like $22,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Again, I'm talking too much, and it's supposed to be your show.
Oh, you're good.
My wife is upstairs nodding their head going, John.
Yeah. Now, another thing that I read recently is Kingsman. I read for the first time.
Mike
You ever
Millar.
read that one? Yep.
You know, I have the Secret Service. I read, the
Or I
comic
guess
book was
the Secret Service is the name of it.
Yeah, I got confused for a second. Yeah, the Secret Service was a lot of fun. Mark Millar, if I may tie him into Alan Moore, he's Scottish, Mark Millar, and he met Alan Moore, and he said Alan Moore used to go to the comic book shop that he would go to, and he would talk to him, and he said Alan Moore, he asked him a question about writing comics, and Alan Moore talked to him for hours. You know, he said he was like 14, 15 years old, and Alan Moore talked to him, reviewed his scripts and everything, and then he's like, well, why don't you pick up this comic over here, because and young Mark Millar's like, I don't have any money, I just wanted to talk to you. So Alan Moore gave him money to go to the comic book store to buy Alan Moore's comics. You know, and
that's
says,
amazing.
Yeah, he said it turned his life around, and now Mark Millar is probably the highest paid comic book artist writer working today.
He might be. He definitely might be.
For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, Mark Millar, he did The Kingsman, which is a successful movie. He did that movie Wanted. You know, he wrote the comic for Wanted. I know he did that show Jupiter's Legacy that was on Netflix. That whatever, that got canceled before I even got a chance to see it. And and Kick-Ass. How can I forget?
Yeah, Kick-Ass. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
I got 2 whole movies.
Yeah, 2 whole movies, and and everybody knows Kick-Ass. Everybody, I went to the movies to see that. So they, so Mark Millar is a, and he even said that right now that the American comic book industry is killing itself. You know, what are you going to do? You going to argue with Mark Millar?
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. He has a Magic Circle. He has so many good comics coming out right now.
Nemesis, is that one?
Yeah, Nemesis. Yeah. Nemesis is the only one that makes me cringe. It's about like an evil. Oh God, Nemesis. Yeah, he brought that back, and he's got a new one. Oh, he's got a 6-issue Superman series coming out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just announced it, and he says it's the greatest artist working in comics right now. So I'm dying to see who's working with them. It might actually get me to buy a DC comic.
There you go.
Yeah, Mark Millar is. If you look at him, he looks like a clean cut, nice, normal guy. There's something twisted inside that guy's head. and I do like him. Why did you bring him up? Now I talk so much I forgot why you brought him up.
Oh, because I just read The Kingsman, or the Secret Service.
The Secret Service, yeah.
The Kingsman is one of the movies.
Yeah, I didn't see the movies yet. Are they any good?
You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen
I think
it.
there's 3 now, aren't there? Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to make 3 more.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I read something where they said that. Yeah, could have been BS, but
it's kind of funny that Mark Millar. It's funny that you brought this up, because I was just reading him on Twitter today. I have like a long commute, so I'll read comic book information on the train if I'm not snoring. But he said that the movie industry is what killed comic books. He says all of us, because, and it's funny coming from a guy who everything he writes is optioned for a movie. Matter of fact,
Kingsman, like he co-wrote that one with the director of the movies.
Right.
Like they planned to make movies when they made the comic.
Right, right, and he like when he made that Wanted comic, he made the main like he told the artist to draw who he pictured as the characters. So Angelina Jolie played, I forget the name of the character, but in the comic it was Halle Berry. It was obviously Halle Berry, and
Yeah.
the main character was obviously Eminem, and I forget who they cast, James McAvoy, which was
Yeah.
but so he and then when he was writing the Ultimates, he was, I think it was either him. I think it was him that had Nick Fury look like Samuel L. Jackson, because that's what he wanted to play Nick Fury in the movie. So this guy's a super influential guy who always had movies as an end goal, but he's got the talent. And he says now that movies came into comic books, everybody who wanted to go to Hollywood and write a screenplay to sell a screen, they started moving into comic books. He goes, but these people aren't comic book fans. They never were interested in comic books. They're tourists. Now that the Hollywood eye, like the eye of Sauron, is moving away from comic books, he says these people are going to leave. And he goes, and maybe we'll have comic book, and maybe the sales of comic books will go up. He goes, but the exact opposite of what we thought was going to happen. When movies got interested in comic books, the wrong people got involved, and we couldn't criticize them because we weren't the right politics or whatever.
Yeah. Things have gotten very silly in that department.
You could ask my wife. The last month that I bought Marvel and DC, I spent like $400 that month on comic books, and this big box came because I was getting them because there was no stores by me, and she just happened to be there when UPS was dropping the box off. So the guy handed her the box, and the box cracked, and comics was spilled. She was like, "This is ridiculous!" Like she was upset because the comics were falling out of the box. She thought I was going to freak out, and then she was mad at me that she was put in this situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah. My wife is upset, carrying a box up 3 flights of stairs, and I don't even like these comics. So that was it. That was, and that's what comic books, these people did. They got me to stop buying them, and I was dropping way too much money on comic books.
Yeah.
Again, I'm talking about me. This is supposed to be about you. And
no, I mean,
you're. What else do you want to know about me?
What's your social security number?
Hold up my credit card.
Yeah, there we go. Just 3 numbers on the back, please.
Yeah. It's again. I get so mad at I get so embarrassed the next day. I'm like, I did it again. I talked about myself again.
You're fine. Yeah, but it's really critical that people become more just oriented on the source material once again, and not.
Well, that's why I like guys like you. You like comics. You're putting you don't have a corporation funding your comic. I assume this is all your money you're putting up. You're paying the artists.
I'll pay the printer. Yeah.
You're paying the printer. If this succeeds beyond your wildest dreams, you'll make the money. If it fails, you're out of money. You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
But I admire that because it's it's braver than me. I get scared and I don't do it. So I look at guys like you and I kind of get inspired. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Thanks, man.
I mean that. I don't understand the jealousy. I look at it, you're not taking anything away from me. In fact, you're showing me that it can be done. Eric July and these guys and Ethan Van Sciver who are making billion, and Billy Tucci and all. Well, these guys are all super talented. I'm not. Yeah. But what I'm saying is they're paving a road that I'll put myself in our category. We could walk on this road that they paved. I think it's I think it's great. Why waste time being jealous? They showed it can be done. And you're doing it, so good for you. And again, what are you doing? Let's talk about your comics. Let's
talk about it more. Where the comic book is called Firewatch. It is live on Indiegogo.
Right, and I'm going to put a link in the description. At the very least, anybody who follows my channel, just give a look at it. I can't tell anybody what to do. Take a look at it. If you like it, back it. If you don't like it, whatever. Give it an honest look.
I need to do more stuff like this to actually be promoting it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to mention names, but a few guys I talk to, they don't like to promote. They're like, I'm a writer.
It's kind of nerve-wracking, because you're putting yourself out there. No, not you. You're very welcoming. I just mean the whole idea of putting yourself out there and this is what I got. please like it.
Right.
You know, it's
Uh,
it's you
what's his
go.
name? Matt something. I forget his name, but he does that comic, Snowman. And he started out with Ethan Van Sciver. There was 3 comics. There was Snowman, Creed, and Cyberfrog, and
Oh, Creed was part of that too.
yeah, they were 3 buddies. They worked together. They met at Hall of Heroes, and they
Okay.
challenged each other and helped each other out. And you know, one by one they got whatever. They went their own ways. Ethan famously went to DC Comics. I forget what happened, but my point being is this Matt. He says he's incredibly shy and he doesn't like being on camera, and it's poor guy doesn't he doesn't want to be on live streams and talk to strangers and promote. He's the comic book world, like you said it before. You're a lonely comic book guy reading your comic book.
Yeah.
You know, we're sitting in our basements, with the covers over our head with a flashlight, reading Mad Magazine, and that's our hobby. It's kind of like an introvert's hobby.
Mhm.
And now all of a sudden we're expected to be self promoters, and Stan Lee was a genius, a controversial genius, but he was a genius nonetheless. The guy could write, he could self promote. He was a carnival barker. He had, my brother, who's a motorcycle guy, knows Stan Lee, and he got like, I took him to a comic convention, and Stan Lee was there, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Like, and he's not even a comic book guy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
he's looking at me. That's Stan Lee. That's Stan. You know what I mean? And it was so cool. But shy comic book people, they're forced to go out of their element by the very nature. So I understand. So I'm glad that you said that. I made you feel welcoming.
Oh yeah, you're great.
I made you feel welcome. I can't even talk. But
You're good. Yeah.
Cool. So, I remember one of the guys. I'm not going to tell tales out of school, but you could just see he was in horror. But by the end of it, he goes, "That was great. Let's do this again."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like the nerves are gone now. Now that we've been talking,
good.
It's always at the beginning though. It's like,
Yeah. What do we say? What do we say?
Yeah. Right.
And
The camera's on me.
And don't be fooled. I talk a lot because I get nervous. And
Right.
then when there's like a moment of silence, I'm like, "Oh my god!" And so I'll just say something. So
Yeah.
So I'm just as nervous as you are. And I'm just as freaked out. What am I going to say?
Yeah. We kind of need a third thing that we can play off of. That's why I was thinking start inviting some of the other comics guys and start getting people into some React content. Maybe react to some Bigfoot footage. It's just a third thing that we can play off of.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Ethan Van Sciver, I keep mentioning the guy again, but he's kind of like the leader of all and one of the pioneers of this crowdfunding scene. For those of you who don't know, a comic called Cyberfrog, his YouTube channel is Comics Pros Secrets.
That sounds right.
And he didn't realize it, but he has the gift of gab, and he's got this charming voice, and he courts controversy and drama. Oh my gosh. Like the only way to describe it is like
nuts,
Howard Stern of like comic book world.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. And but so he's got a gift to the point where he's making a fortune just on YouTube. He says YouTube all his bills, and he doesn't even touch the Cyberfrog money, which that made millions. But not everybody has that gift.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of why I want to do something else, like do the Bigfoot or just something, because it's like otherwise it's drama, and that's what everyone reacts to is drama, and that's just I get so sick of that.
I get sick of it too, but at the same time,
it drives traffic.
Yeah, it drives traffic.
It's effective.
What are they talking about? That's disgusting. Yep. Let me read more about it.
Yeah.
And I get caught up, and I try to. I'm tiny. I'm small. I have a small audience, so I've been below the radar as far as drama, and I try to keep it that way. But I'm human. Every once in a while I'll joke. I'll say like, okay, I'm going to say this to outrage people. Like I made one video tongue in cheek just to court controversy. It even noticed.
No one noticed.
It was the X-Men where Kitty Pryde says the N-word, Let's get me canceled. That's the only way to get good numbers.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I get mad at? Like right now, Marvel Comics is the movies aren't doing as well as they used to. But at one point, they were making $1 billion a movie. I was working in Times Square, and there's posters all over the place. You go into a deli, the guy making my sandwich has a shirt that says Marvel Comics, and everybody's grandmother knows who freaking the Black Panther is now. Nowadays, people could tell you who the High Evolutionary is, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Yet nobody knows who's working comics. Like CB Cebulski should be on talk shows. He should have his own YouTube show produced by Marvel with editors talking about comics and selling comics. You're the editor in chief. You're sitting in Stan Lee's chair, and I don't even know what you look like.
Yeah.
I that to be a colossal failure. The guy who's put in the editor in chief should be on Maury Povich. He should be, on The View. He should be everywhere, touring and selling comics.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's and you're doing it. You're the editor in chief of your company, and
that's right.
Yeah, you're selling comics. So sell some comics. Let's talk about it for people who showed up late.
All right. So, did you ever get the link to share the screen?
Nope.
It's all right if you didn't. Okay.
Oh, yes, I did. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm ignoring.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. I'm sorry about
now
that.
We can show off the campaign
I
a
thought
little.
I was terrible at this.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Thank you for doing that. It makes me feel good that I have another button that I could push.
So yeah, we're only at 300, like I said. So we got a little ways to go, but we'll get there. I think
you'll get there. You'll get there.
We'll get there. So let's just show off some of the interiors.
And that's
for
by
anyone who wants to. This is
by
Laura,
the artist known as Laura.
That's right, the artist formerly known as Laura. Yes.
Who's smarter than both of us and doesn't want to be on camera.
That's right. She has enough sense.
Yeah.
And I really like this page here.
Okay. Scroll back for a second. I wanted to ask you: these are your two main characters?
Yes, here they are.
What are their names? Let's get a little invested in these characters.
Sophie and Alec. Sophie Morris and Alec Reed.
Oh, those are good.
I'll give you last names even.
Yeah, those are good names. Okay. And they are occult investigators for an organization known as Firewatch.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I love it.
Yeah. I really like this page. I just wanted to show off that page there. What?
Is it set in the modern times?
Yes, modern times.
Okay.
I mean, it'll go back in time later on.
Okay.
To tell some backstories, but
okay. And you want to
currently it's modern time.
Yeah, you've been trying to show off this page, and I've been talking over you.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I just really like this page. You can see it here. Yeah. You got the watchtower there. I think it turned out great.
Yeah. Good.
But that's all I have.
That's all
here for now.
Scroll down again. I'm going to talk about a tangent that has nothing to do with
anything. Up or down?
Oh, go back to your page that you like with the fire.
Oh, that one. All right.
Have you ever read Jack Kerouac?
I don't think so.
Okay, Jack Kerouac has a book called Desolation Angels, where he was Firewatch in your part of the country, and he lived in one of those for 6 months. And this was the book that he wrote while he was isolated, and it is just insanity. It's like rantings of a madman, and then his editor turned it into some sort of book. So and he was a Firewatch guy.
What was the name of it?
Desolation Angels. It's my favorite book by Kerouac because I'm a crazy person. I'll send you direct.
I just made a note of it so I can check it out later.
Yeah, you're gonna read it and you're gonna be like, I don't want to have anything to do with this junk box guy again.
Oh, I doubt that.
Yeah, it looks good. And over here, I'm pointing like you can see what I'm pointing to.
Right.
This is the cover of your comic. The two pictures that I'm seeing on.
Yep. Here are some of the covers. Standard cover, which won't be a Virgin cover. It's just like that because that's how it was at the beginning. I didn't have anything designed, but the other two covers will be Virgin covers.
Okay, Virgin covers for those of you who don't know that there's no words on it. You just get all
no branding or anything, just art.
You're cool. And these are all your original characters.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. And there's T-shirts.
There's a T-shirt with a misspelled word, turquoise.
I wouldn't have noticed.
I caught it. I just haven't fixed it. Well, I don't think I can fix it in the. Because once you have an item, I don't think they let you change it.
Oh,
during the campaign.
let me ask you this: how is Indiegogo been treating you? Is it easy to use?
It's fairly easy. Something I will say is, let's go back to the silly politics of things.
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately.
I've never used the word Comicsgate once, but yet because I'm on Indiegogo, everyone immediately calls me Comicsgate,
Yeah, yeah.
which is strange to me.
It's divide and conquer. You know.
Yeah, like people who like do the chains and do the promotions, like people who like to promote indie comics, they'll say like no Indiegogos. And like
Really?
I tried to call someone out on it, like, well, this is just a platform that, isn't affiliated with anybody. What's your problem with them? Well, because they're a safe haven for Comicsgate was their reason.
And what's wrong with that? You know.
Well, they didn't like Comicsgate.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And they're like, and they told me, well, you should have done your research beforehand. And I'm like, I did do my research. And between Kickstarter and Indiegogo, Indiegogo seems to be the better designed site. That's why I chose it.
Yeah. Well. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Comicsgate is other people made up this name Comicsgate, like Watergate, like whatever. But it's a play on that Gamergate, which really I'm not a video gamer, so that kind of went past me. I heard about it, but they're supposed to be the bad guys in comics, and let me tell you, there's no bad guys in comics. The average Democrat's a normal guy. The average Republican's a normal guy. And that's but there's these fanatics that go around like slamming Comicsgate, and it makes no sense. Like, they're just people who want to make their own comic books, and Marvel won't have them. Marvel won't have, like, the leader of Comicsgate is Ethan Van Sciver, whose name I mentioned a few times, but he just wants to make comic books, and he was like marched out of DC Comics and blacklisted. Mike Barron wants to make comics, and he's blacklisted. He can't. The guy wrote The Punisher. He wrote some of the biggest selling Marvel comic books of all time, and Marvel won't hire him because he has the wrong politics. But he's just a pot smoking hippie who lives in Colorado. You know what I mean?
For real. Yeah, it's actually nuts.
And so they got forced into this group, and they're like, you know what, you're gonna call me this, I'm gonna embrace it. And then they're demonized with names. Whatever. It's just silly. It's just silly. And you know what? If you see that picture of the Comic-Con from New Jersey, these guys are all sitting around a table drinking champagne and eating steaks, and all the good guys are writing that hashtag comics broke me, and they can't pay their rent. So you know what?
One group looks like they're doing a little better.
Yeah. Because the one I can't remember her name, and who cares what her name is anyway. But one of the main writers on the X-Men right now is complaining that what is she making, $60 a page for the X? Back Chris Claremont. I think this guy was making millions writing the X-Men.
Probably.
Yeah. And now these people are crying poverty. They're living in New York City, and they're making $30,000 a year. And I don't know if the rest of the world thinks 30 grand is a lot of money, but I'll tell you, if I made 30 grand a year living what I'm living right now, I would be living in my car. New York is an expensive place.
I mean, that's kind of low for here even. So that's pretty rough.
Yeah. So I just have to laugh. Like, divide and conquer, and you fall into the big two's game, because now you're scared to go by yourself and make some decent money. So they got you living poverty wages for what? Virtue points?
It's so crazy.
I'd rather have a steak with Ethan Van Sciver and Graham Nolan any day of the week. Plus they're probably funner guys.
Probably.
Yeah. Again, I talk through your sales pitch, but
you're good.
That's me. That's what I do. I talk.
What about, have you checked out any of the other smaller publishers? Like what are there? There's Aftershock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aftershock, they're pretty good. Yes.
They have some decent stuff.
Yeah.
Vault.
I'm sorry.
Vault
Comics. Yes, Vault Comics is making some good stuff.
I do like Vault.
Yeah, AWA, AWA.
I haven't read that one.
I think
Tim Seeley has a lot of stuff at Vault. I like Tim Seeley a lot.
Yeah, I like Tim Seeley too. Yeah. there's a lot of smaller companies popping up all the time. Yeah,
Or actually, the book I really like from Tim Seeley is that Aftershock, Dark Red. Have you read that one?
Red? No, no.
That one's good.
I'll check that out. Tim Seeley, he wrote that Superman for All Seasons, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
That
which
sounds
is
right.
one of the better Superman stories. That was like a comic that I would give to other people that weren't into comics to show why I like comics. And they're like,
Yeah.
that was good. And they all say the same silly thing. If all comics were like this, I'd read comics. I'm like, well, how many that are like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aftershock Comics. There's so many good companies. Vault. You're right about Vault. Vault doesn't put out a lot, but what they put
don't.
out is good.
Yeah, they're
Good way
kind
to
of
go.
the size of Alterna, I think.
Yeah.
Except
yeah.
they're with Diamond.
Yes, except they come through Diamond. Yes. Yeah.
What about you ever read any Scout?
Yes. Scout. I just started hearing about Scout in the past couple of months. Matter of fact, I got some Scout right here in this to read pile, and I can't of what it is. What the Scout put out.
I can't.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Ranger Stranger, I think, is a title.
There you go.
What's that?
This is Scout Comics. Count Dante, the most
Count
dangerous.
Dante.
Yeah. This is some deep comic book goofiness that I absolutely love. Count Dante had. Do you remember in the old Marvel comics there was an ad for like Charles Atlas? Well, there was Charles Atlas, be a man, hero of the beach. The guy works out and becomes strong. Well, there was another ad by Count Dante, and it was this guy with this crazy mustache and an afro, and he had nunchucks, and it was deadliest man in the world, and take his kung fu course. So to my eyes, he was a comic book character as a little kid. And if I may talk about myself, which is I guess my specialty here on this channel,
I love it. Go for it.
I have a role-playing game where we do superheroes. In the 70s, there was a secret team of superheroes called the Secret Seven, and it was Charles Atlas and Count Dante were two of the members, and they did superhero antics because of that ad in the comics. And what this is the fake true story of Count Dante. And the real Count Dante, I think he had some addiction problems and got himself in trouble with the law. So this is a fake autobiography of basically a guy that everybody who got 70s comics saw that ad over and over again. So I could not say no to that. And that's Scout Comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were putting that out. So far from what I've read from Scout, I can't say I'm super impressed.
Oh,
with
really?
Most of it.
Well, all right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone has their own stuff. Like someone likes it, obviously, because they're doing pretty well. But
yeah, I love this. The unauthorized but sort of true story of the deadliest man who ever lived. I don't know. It's got to be good.
Oh, that's got to be good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many. AWA Comics, I think, is another one. Vault, and I know that there's another company that I always check out. I even though there's a comic book store around the block, I've been going to the discount comic book service online, and that's where I get my comics. And I scroll down and look at it every month. There seems to be a new comic company, and I think that's great.
Yeah. I mean, they might not all be around next month, but they're giving the effort.
Yeah.
I might not be around for a second campaign, but I'm here now.
Oh, don't say that. Don't. We'll get you. We'll get you over there. We'll try. We'll do it. Yeah. Well, I've been talking for an hour and a half. And it's time for me to go to bed because well, you're a farmer. You got to get up early too, huh?
Some days.
So
some days more so than others.
Tell us about the comic, and then we'll wrap up. So
all right, one last pass. I'll read the tagline: a cozy supernatural existential thriller that will make you fall in love with comics again. That's what I'm promising.
Okay.
Will I deliver? Promise. Maybe.
I think you will. I think I love the premise. I like that it's yours. These are your characters. You care about them. You're not working in somebody else's sandbox.
Right.
Why not?
Why
I'm back.
not?
Yeah, I'm back in.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I try to only have my premise is things that I like. So you asked to come on, I checked out your comic, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, yeah. And it's funny because I knew your name as Firewatch, and I saw the name Logan showing up in a lot of chats. And then when I started messaging you, the talk is coming up. I'm like, wait a minute, I know this guy.
I've been around the circles a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that was nice. That was a nice surprise. I was like, oh, okay, so I already know him. We've already interacted before, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know it don't seem like it, but I get very nervous before I do these live chats. And Chuck Dixon's coming on the 26th.
Ooh.
I'm like, uh, watch. I'm going to turn it to Cindy Brady. I'm just going to be like staring. I'm not going to say anything. I kind of got starstruck when Mike Barron was on. I get embarrassed. I can't rewatch that. There was like long periods of awkward silence because I was just, Mike Barron. What do I say to Mike Barron? He's going to hate me.
Hey man, it's all good. I get that way with everyone. As soon as the camera's on me, that's just how I am.
Well, you were fine. You were
Thanks,
fine.
man.
Pleasant to talk to. I love talking comics with people, and you don't even have to be a creator. I just like talking comics with people. That's what this channel is about. Let's talk comics. Let's share our love of comics. Tell some stories about comics. I love the fact that your father gave you a bunch of gold and Gold Key comics. I know nothing about Gold Key.
Really?
Yeah, like
you need
that
to
was
check some out.
my time. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you still have them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That is awesome. The Gold Key and Dell, they're like completely gone. But at one point, they were the largest comic book companies, and they're gone. That should be like a lesson to Marvel and DC. Nobody outside of comic books even remembers those two names.
I
So
think that's the problem, is that Marvel and DC aren't companies anymore.
Right.
They're subsidiaries of corporations.
Right. The way I look at them now is they're like the farm leagues. Like Major League Baseball will get. They'll watch and have littler leagues where they pull the guys up. That's what I think. Like DC and Warner Brothers is doing. Like
they're just using that as a nest egg to form movies.
Correct. And they don't care if they operate at a loss as long as the movies make money. But
right.
But now that the movies are waning down, maybe might be
it's
the
hard
best
to say what'll happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be good. I think like Mark Millar said, the tourists will leave and the real comic book people who care about comics will take over again. But you know what? I moved on from DC and Marvel. Even if they correct course, I'm not because I'm a compulsive person. I'm not going to buy all those comics again.
Yeah.
I got Firewatch to buy. I'm happy.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go have some dinner and go to bed. I really enjoyed talking with you. Please come back again. Yeah, come back again and talk. I talk through this entire thing like I normally do because I don't know, I'm crazy. So come back and we'll sell some more Firewatch.
Maybe you can come on my channel and we'll watch some Bigfoot footage.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
We'll do that sometime.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds like a blast. Yeah, we'll get a bunch of people.
Yeah, we'll get a little party going.
I'll talk to a couple of people that I became friendly with. And we'll try to push some Firewatch. That'll be awesome.
There we go.
That's a good idea. You brought that up a few times, but now all of a sudden the light bulb went off. That's a fun.
It's fun because it's not drama. It's a third thing we can all enjoy that isn't drama.
Are you a Bigfoot guy?
Yeah, cryptids, they're fun. Yeah.
I got a buddy who lives in Florida, and he belongs to a Bigfoot society. and he how does his wife just let him go out in the woods with a bunch of I just think they're out there drinking in the woods, and he takes pictures. I'm like, buddy, there's no Bigfoot in Florida.
Well, don't they call it a skunk ape down there?
Yes, that he corrects me about that. But if you met my friend Chris, it would make total sense. That's a Bigfoot group in Florida. But that sounds like fun, and I will definitely take you up on that. Just let's set that up. That sounds like a blast.
All right.
But everybody, I got to go to bed. I always hate this because I enjoy talking to people, and I can talk for 2 hours. But this Logan Effling, he's doing Firewatch. It looks like a fun comic. I love the premise. You got 30 more days. Is that what you said?
33. Yep.
33 more days to raise $700 more, and
Whew.
why not?
Why
I know
not?
you must be stressed out, buddy. I feel bad for you.
I mean, I'd like to just reach the goal so it goes in demand and just stays up for a little longer. But if it
Yeah,
doesn't, it doesn't.
and that's what Kickstart. For those of you who don't know, this is Indiegogo. Excuse me, and I'll put the link in the description. So if you don't reach your goal, that's it. Nobody like I'll get reimbursed my money or whatever.
Well, this one actually is flexible.
Okay.
So this one, the money will stay and you will still get your book no matter what. Like hell or
Okay.
high water, I'm going to
Oh,
print this book.
well, I admire that, but I don't want you to take a loss. But
Well,
you know,
if I have to on the first issue, then I have to,
yeah, yeah. Comic, like Jack Kirby said, comics will break your heart, kid.
Yeah.
But I admire that you getting up and doing this. I wish I had the bravery to do it. You went online, you found artists, you did all that stuff. You got your comic. That's gonna feel so good when you actually have your comic in your hand, huh?
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, yeah. That is. Would your family think you're crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but all creative people are crazy, right?
Oh yeah, you got to be a little bit.
Yeah. But thanks a lot for coming by.
Thanks for
This is
having me.
Firewatch on Indiegogo. I'll put a link in the description, and check it out, everybody. Please do. We need more stuff like this. We need more fun comics by people that actually like the customers. I
Yeah.
can't believe I have to say that in the modern world,
It's
but
pretty nuts.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. Thank you.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.